What's going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to you one more time before the night's over with. And I wanted to bring you a clip from Bill Maher's Real Time. And he's talking to John McWhorter, who's a professor at Columbia University. And they're talking about the book, White Fragility. And he's going to give us comments on that. But hey, guys, if you would, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
But first up, he is a professor of linguistics at Columbia University, whose new book is called 9 Nasty Words, English in the Gutter of Then, Now, and Forever. You can find his commentary on Substack.com, and I don't mind saying he's one of my heroes. John McWhorter is over here. John, I mean that. No. We don't touch anymore, John. I'd like to touch you because I'm such a fan of yours. I must tell you.
It's good to hear, Bill.
Oh, I am. I hope some of your friends, our mutual friends, have told you that over the years. That, you know, I admire you so much, not just because you're a voice of common sense, but it takes guts these days to be a voice in common sense. I
suppose, you know, I don't think of myself as brave because what I really am is a failed lawyer. And my issue is just that if things don't make sense to me, then I just want to try to make sense of it, and I want people to understand what I mean. And this is the thing. If you are a good black person, you're often told that when it comes to certain race issues, you're supposed to not quite make sense and that you're supposed to deal with a certain kind of word magic. I have never felt it. I've always thought I'm black and I would like that to make sense too. And that's why I end up looking brave when really I'm just obsessive.
Well, what I get so much from listening to you and reading you is that you feel condescended to, which I feel like that is...
Especially lately, yeah.
Right. And I see that all the time, and I do wonder why that's not more in the dialogue we have.
It's the strangest thing. Like, you read a book like, and yeah, we're going to have to be specific, White Fragility, which basically says that black people are these hothouse flowers where everybody has to tiptoe around us, and, you know, we're always crying and we're always angry, and we're just so very, very, very delicate. I don't feel like that person. That book is talking down to me. As far as I'm concerned, it
really
be
should be
used
called
to keep
Black
tables.
Fragility, right?
Yes, it should be used to keep tables from wobbling. That is the only use for that book. And yet,
you know, guys, I haven't read that book. I have not read White Fragility, but if anyone has, please put it down below in the comments, man, what you think, because again, man, I haven't read that book. I don't know if I will, if I'll ever get to it. But yeah, I've heard some things about it. And yeah, leave it down below in the comments if you have and what you think about it.
You look on Facebook and you have people saying, I'm doing the work, and reading this book. And I think to myself, they are doing the work of making me into a perfect idiot.
Right.
And yes, why don't more of my fellow black people feel that way? And it's because of a very human thing, which is that it is a very human thing to take on the victim identity. All people do it. We've all known people like that. A way you can do it, if you're a black person, and all of us need to grab onto something sometimes, is to read a book like that and think, yes, I need to be treated that way. And I am going to start actively parsing it that way, because I don't think people realize what silly babies books like that make us look like. So something needs to be said.
Right.
Yeah, again, man, I have not read that book. You know, I probably should, but I haven't read the book. But yeah, I think people, when they're, you know, hey, I had the chance to use a power of victimhood over other groups of people. And sometimes they want to do that. That is a privilege within itself. You know, and I think people always want to talk about male privilege or white privilege. And I agree that certain forms of privilege exist for everyone. But I think right now, a lot of privilege exists for women, much more than what women want to admit. And a lot of privilege exists for Black people on the victim spectrum. You can identify with being a victim, much more than white people can. And I think, again, there's a kind of a hierarchy. I mean, a white man can identify as a victim, but, most people don't take him seriously, and they shut down what he says. They want to, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. There's no way you're a victim. And Black man can be a victim and a white woman can be a victim. But if you're a Black woman, you can be even more of a victim. And if you can be a Black lesbian woman, you can be even more of a victim. And if you can be a Black fat lesbian woman, you could be even more of a victim. And if you can be a fat lesbian Black disabled woman, you can be the most victim. So, I think there's a hierarchy. And I think people, they like to identify with what gives them the most power. And, so I agree, man, that, and I'm not saying people are bad for identifying with that, but I think people that want to be seen as victims, they kind of use that as their identity and as a reason why they didn't get to where they need to get in life. And as, somebody else held them back, or some kind of disability or some kind of belonging to a particular group held them back from achieving what they were supposed to achieve.
But, I mean, to be fair, I think most Black folks do agree with you. It's just the people, Black and white, who are on Twitter.
Quite frankly, yes.
Yeah.
I know when I say these things, it's not just me and Coleman Hughes and Glenn Lowry and 2 or 3 other people. If it were something like that, I wouldn't say, hey, look at the way we weirdos feel. It's that I've been Black pretty much for 55 years, and I know how Black people feel.
Right.
And I always think this certain sliver of people in the media and in academia, they're often much smarter than me, but that is not the representative view. And so, for example, if you're going to read How to Be an Anti-Racist, that is not the general Black view of things. That should be read, it's like the Bible. That book, if you must read it, should be read as literature rather than as scholarship. That's not general. And yet we're told that somehow we have to accept these sorts of things as the Black view. And you'll see it on Twitter. A Black person will write on Twitter, you have to listen to the Black people who are the real Black people, the Black people who Black people listen to. No. There is a great deal of diversity in the Black community, and I can tell you it is not the default in the Black community to think of ourselves as pathetic. Yes, we can't has never been the slogan for Black America, and it's not now.
Yeah.
Again, guys, I definitely, I agree with what he's saying, 100%. And I think also, man, we got like people like myself, a middle-aged white man. If I dare speak on things, which I'm speaking on now, but I get, again, I don't have a big YouTube channel or anything else, but when I speak on something, every now and then, man, I get comments or I get emails that, like, how dare you speak about women, or how dare you speak about minorities? You're a male. You're a white male. How do you speak about something? It's like, man, can I have an opinion on something? Can't I see something the way that I see something? Aren't I a person just as much as you? Am I not allowed to speak on something? You're allowed to call people supremacist or whatever. You're allowed to call men patriarchal bastards or whatever. But people like myself aren't allowed to speak on that. Why not? Again, man, I think that there is this real big double standard. But there are certain things that women say that if we reversed it and a man said it about women, women would be up in arms about it. They'd be all upset. And the same thing with if white people say things about black people, certain things about black people, that the reverse is okay. Like black people can say certain things about white people, and it's okay. But if the reverse happens, it's not okay. So again, man, there's a real big double standard. And John McWhorter that was on here, that was on with Bill Maher, man, he has got a lot to say on certain things, and I respect him. I really do. And, I've read actually a couple of his books, and Woke Racism is really good. And I definitely recommend checking that one out and reading through that. But hey guys, look, if you would, please like and subscribe and leave, how I'm doing down in the comments. And if anyone has read that book, White Fragility, leave it down below in the comments what you think about that. Because again, man, I have not read that. But thanks, guys. You son of a.